watched Beetlejuice the other day because Beetlejuice is one of my favorite movies. I don't give a fuck. I can watch Beetlejuice all day long. I think Tim Burton is a genius. I think he has a very vivid, creative, astonishing imagination. Edward Scissorhands is creative and inventive. Beetlejuice is amazing, even though people shit on it now. But his first two versions of Batman were solid. The technology wasn't what it is now, and Hollywood wasn't what it is now, and budgets and art and special effects, all that shit wasn't what it was in '89. That shit was made in '89, son. But Tim Burton, Nightmare Before Christmas, fucking amazing. Like he's a genius. I like to watch Beetlejuice, and that's like one of my go-to movies. Beetlejuice is like a portal. Like if you take mushrooms and you need to open your mind up, Beetlejuice is like a mushroom for me. Like I'll watch that and I'm like, fuck, Tim Burton is creative as fuck. It's just so much going on in the movie, and the soundtrack is amazing. Harry Belafonte, it's the soundtrack, the score, Danny Elfman, fucking amazing movie, amazing. You can watch it over and over, and I'm afraid that they're gonna do a sequel to it. I don't know how or what that sequel could be. I don't know if Michael Keaton has the energy to be Beetlejuice now. And I don't want to see them try to do a spinoff and hand the torch to somebody else like they did with The Mask, and they gave it to Jamie Kennedy, I believe. Just, if you can't get Jim Carrey, then the movie's not supposed to be made, because you can't replace Jim fucking Carrey. But Beetlejuice is a fucking incredible movie, and I don't think you can replace Michael Keaton by putting somebody else in his place either. The only other person that could have played that role is Jim Carrey, and that's a dangerous thing to say, that the only person that could ever fill Michael Keaton's role in Beetlejuice is Jim Carrey, because he had it. Maybe Robin Williams. Jim Carrey, Robin Williams, but Michael Keaton was fucking amazing. His face fit the role. And that's blasphemy to even say who could replace Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. It's kind of like saying who could replace Guru in Gangstar. You don't say shit like that. You don't. Even if you have somebody in mind, you don't say it. Because Premier has worked with everybody, so essentially everybody is Gangstar if you got a beat from Premier. You are in Gangstar if you have a beat from fucking Premier, because Premier is fucking Gangstar. It's the beats. It's the beats, fam. And Guru has one of the top 10 dopest rap voices in the game. But if you got a beat by Premier, you are fucking officially like an unofficial member. Like on SNL, Alec Baldwin is an unofficial member on SNL because he's been on there so many times. You're an unofficial member of Gangstar. Now, welcome to Just Killing Time. My name is Moranzia Vance. This is the podcast. I'm a human art project. You know the rules. I'm just going through some shit. I'm just killing time until this shit is over. Until I don't exist anymore, or people that watch this don't exist anymore. This is what I'm doing. This is the game plan. I am talking out life, out loud, trying to figure out if I should give a fuck about any of this or not. I'm discussing out loud aspects of my life and deciding if this shit is worth me giving a fuck about. Is it worth losing sleep over? Should I feel lesser than because I'm not doing X, Y, and Z, because these are the things that people think I should be fucking doing? Imagine how many people are doing something they don't want to do to gain the approval of somebody that won't be here anymore. Shit! What is that worth to you? What is it worth to you to have the approval of a parent that's not going to be here one day? What is that? What the fuck is that? Like, I got to get the approval of my parents or I won't be able to live with myself. They're going to die one day. And then when they're dead, who are you living for? Their memory? I'm not shitting on it. I'm asking the question. I'm just asking, what is that worth to you? What is that peace of mind? Here's the crazy part. Imagine trying to gain the approval of somebody who can't do what you can do. That's like me getting people who can't do comedy but judge it. I'm gaining their approval at something that they can't fucking do that I'm a master at. It's like that meme where they show a horse tied to a chair, but the chair is like a regular plastic fucking chair that a strong fart can knock it down, but the horse won't move because he thinks the chair is too heavy. And the meme says something like, sometimes it's just all in your head. It's in your head. I believe we choose to, because I do it too. We choose to find things as excuses to keep us from doing what we really want to fucking do. Because we're afraid of people who can't really do anything to us except not approve. And for some reason, approval, not getting approval, hurts way worse than physical pain for whatever reason. The approval, your parents not approving of something hurts worse than any pain. So I am on a journey. I'm just talking this shit out because I don't agree with everything. I don't like everything. I don't want to do everything. But I'm trying to figure out why I don't want to do it, as well as figure out what it is that I do want to do. And I don't have shit else to do, God damn it. It's like a diary. It's a journal out loud. Fucking. Anyway, since I said worth, I will go with worth. Let me find out what the definition of worth is. Hey Siri, what's the definition of worth?
As an adjective, worth means equivalent in value to the sum or item specified. Do you want to hear the next one?
Equivalent to the sum of the value. That's a hard thing, your worth. That's a popular word right now, worth. Everybody's always posting something. Get your worth. Know your worth. What's it worth it to you? Worth. Is it worth it to me to beg somebody to love me if I have to constantly do something every encounter or every day to remind them to continue to love me, to care for me, to want to be around me, to speak to me, to find me worth being around? Is it worth it to you to have to go to work every day to make money for somebody who only values you if you bring money home? What is it worth to you to be with somebody that makes you feel good about yourself because other people think there's no way this guy can have this woman? What's it worth to you to live that facade? Is it worth you going to work every day? Is it worth you losing your hair? Is it worth you subjecting yourself to asbestos, radiation, some type of chemical poisoning because you want somebody to say, you see what I do? Is it worth it to you to love me? What is it worth to you? Everybody's trying to find their self-worth. How do you find your self-worth in a world where people judge you based upon how much content you have out, the quality of your content? How much revenue does your content, generate? Is it worth it to you? What's the worth? Like, what's your joke worth? That's what we deal with in comedy. I can only speak about comedy right now. Every comic thinks they're worth a spot at a comedy club. Maybe. But the comedy clubs, I think we forget, are also a business. And I'm not justifying how comedy clubs treat us, because there are some comedy clubs out there that treat us like shit. Like, we're slaves. You're not valued. You're only valued if when your name is on the marquee, people come to that place and spend money. That determines your worth. When your name is on the marquee and people drive by and say, yo, so-and-so is there, we're going to spend lots of money. We're going to pay the 2-drink minimum. We're going to pay for VIP seating. We're going to pay for after the show meet and greet because that person is going to be there. That comic understands that they're worth something to that club, and depending on, people abuse their worth. People abuse their worth, meaning people will act like an ass, a diva, show their ass, show up late, not show up at all, deliver whatever lines they want to deliver, run the light as long as they want. We're having that problem in the comedy community now where people who have not earned the right to go on stage and talk for 30 to 45 minutes are just showing up at clubs and telling jokes for 30 to 45 minutes without thinking about the fact that they didn't earn the right to talk as long as they are about something and not being funny while they are doing that thing that they think that they are doing. Remember in The Joker and the one with Joaquin Phoenix, and he was the Joker and he thought he was killing it, and old girl from Atlanta is his girl he thinks is his girlfriend in his head. She's in the audience and she's laughing or whatever. I believe a lot of people, when they go on stage, they see a crowd of people dying laughing at them, and that's not what's happening. But you can't tell them that they're not killing. And then it's almost like they get you to question your reality, like maybe I didn't see people fucking laughing. You know you didn't see people laughing, but that motherfucker's confidence outweighs your reality, and that's scary. That's gaslighting. Your worth. Young comics, any comic. Why can't I get spots at this club? Why can't I get spots at that club? Because they don't care. They say they do, but they don't. They don't. You only worth it. You only worth something to them if you can put asses in the seats without them giving away tickets. When I see people posting online, I sold out a show. Sure. Are they hard tickets? My friend Kevin Shea was like, he didn't want to go on the road until he could sell hard tickets, because what's the point of going on the road when a club is going to resent you for them taking time to advertise you and book you and put you in a hotel and come pick you up from the airport, and you cost them more to have you there than if you didn't come at all. It's still a business. Until comedians do a non-profit comedy club where the comics get paid and they do everything they can to pack the room with people regardless of whoever's on the lineup, that's not happening. And I'm sure somebody will listen to this and say, that sounds like communism, Moranzio. No, I just know that there are a lot of people who really want to do comedy and perform on a big stage, and they don't have it. And that's not a knock. They just don't possess it, or they haven't found the audience, or the audience that likes them isn't big enough to justify somebody giving them a platform to do the thing that they love to do. And that sucks. I saw a comedy special where a chick shot a comedy special at the Laugh Factory with no audience and put crowd laughter in that bitch. Or she had like some audience members in there. The point is, I had never seen her do comedy before, ever, but she's married to some dude that has money who spent a fucking fuckload of money for her to shoot a comedy special that nobody gives a fuck about or asks for. But money makes things happen. People forget money is a tool. Money's not for you to fucking put up to your ear or throw on top of fucking people. Money is a tool. Money is a fucking tool. Money is not to go out and make a jeweler as famous as a producer on a rap song because they make jewelry. Who the fuck is shouting out jewelry makers? When did jewelry makers make it into the fucking conversation? You think somebody go on a stage and be like, yo, I want to thank my record label, I want to thank my producers, I want to thank my jeweler for designing this dope fucking... What? Why are jewelers getting the same amount of fucking acknowledgement as the rapper that's wearing the fucking jewelry. Let's remember, folks, jewelry are accessories of insecurity. Jewelry are accessories to insecurity. If you think you dope, if you think you're a Bentley, why put rims on it? You don't put rims on a Bentley unless you just say, I got so much money, I gotta spend it or they're gonna kill me. Fuck you putting rims on a Bentley? It's a fucking Bentley, dumbass. It's an expensive car. You can't do anything else to it other than put another Bentley inside of the fucking Bentley if you're trying to show everybody how big your dick is. Or vagina. You got a Bentley. You tinted it. Great. You put some trim on it. Outstanding. Put some rims on it. Unnecessary. Now it's got a fucking tarp on it, and you matted it out. Just fucking ridiculous. Stop it. Throw you and your money in the goddamn ocean. It's wasting everybody's time. You put all that money into something that's not going to be forever. The Bentley is not forever. I really got to ask people, what the fuck you spending that much money on a fucking car for? Because you can? Shit. I know a lot of motherfuckers that are big as fuck. They could just rip people in half like phone books, but they don't do it. They can, but they don't. Just because you can do something doesn't mean you fucking do it. But that's what has everybody questioning their worth. That's why comedy clubs book people that have 1 million followers on TikTok. Regardless if they're funny or not, the clubs are hoping that the people that watch them on TikTok will show up at the comedy clubs, and that will transcend into dollars for the club. This person has 1 million followers on TikTok. Book them at the club. If you're giving away free content like that, why am I paying to come see it at the club? TikTok sketches do not translate to comedy bits at the comedy club. I'm sorry. Some shit you just can't. You can't turn a peso into a platinum chain. It ain't worth it. The peso ain't worth a platinum chain. In no universe, Rick and Morty can come take the chain and the peso to every dimension. It will never be more than a fucking peso. Your worth. What is it worth to you to push yourself, to make yourself valuable to people who only want something from you if you offer something? Imagine only being worth it to somebody if they find worth in you. I know somebody going through that right now. They are struggling with the fact that they don't want this person in their life. Like, they don't want to like this person, but whatever this person does makes this person feel alive, and whatever the pain this person causes, my friend, is worth it to them to go through that fucking pain. It's worth it to them. So the question I always want to ask, which I have not figured out how to ask, which I think I just did, is what this person does for you worth the pain you have to go through to get that? Is it worth it? And can you get it from someplace else? And if you can't get it someplace else, you have to ask yourself why. Is it because you think only this person can do it? Or you don't think you can get it from somebody else? Like, what is it worth to you? It's not worth it to me anymore to go to comedy clubs if I'm not getting paid. I don't need to work on material. I've been doing comedy long enough to where if I write some shit down, I can go to a club and perform it well enough to where people won't know I just did a new joke. And then I'll work that bitch out. But it's not. Gas is $6.29 in California if you get premium. You gotta drive to comedy clubs. And if you're not getting paid to perform, you're in the red because it costs you more to go to the club than if you had to just stayed the fuck at home. You had to ask yourself, is it worth it to go out and do that shit? You got to figure out what your worth is. What is it worth it to you to figure out your worth? That's the question. What is it worth to you to figure out what you are worth? And then you gotta ask yourself, if what you think you're worth, wherever you think your worth is, if it isn't enough for somebody else, do you care? Do you care if people don't think you are worth what you believe you are worth? You gotta ask yourself that question. There are people out there that are not funny. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. This is not hate. This is an actual fact. There are people out here that are minority, affirmative action, comedy specials. There are a lot of affirmative action comedy specials. There are a lot of, we're gonna force this down people's throat for inclusion purposes. It's a fact. It's not a knock. You can see it. If you don't see the pandering, I don't know what to tell you, but there are panderings going on right now. There are comedy specials that are shot. You had to go find an audience for this person, and you had to shoot it, and then you had to make it not look like you didn't force people to come to a comedy special so you can include this person in the conversation, so no one can say, but hey, why don't you have this on your platform? Or why don't you have that type of person on your platform? It's money. Don't ever, 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 ever get it twisted. None of this shit you see is to make the world a better place. It is so people don't lose money. Because when a group of people says, why aren't we represented? We're going to take our dollars someplace else. That's when people start to listen, because money makes things happen. Not humanity, not the loss of life, not the lack of opportunities, money. People don't get help unless there's money involved in helping people who need fucking help. Fucking Hollywood. I've been to these fundraisers. These people, rich people, get together and talk about how noble they are. They are helping people that they don't really have to help, but it makes them feel good that they help poor fucking people. You know, I just want to help them because, you know, we don't do enough for the disenfranchised. We don't do enough for them. We don't help them enough. Let's give back to them. Shall we, Muffy? Muffy, give some money to the Negroes. Help the Negroes. Evelyn, should we help the Negroes this year? Yes, I would love to get all the Negroes in my city socks. I think Negroes should have socks. And cocoa butter. Let's all raise money for cocoa butter. Yo, if I could say the things that I think was darker about me is the things that I put in other people's mouths that I believe they would say about me if they could say what they wanted to say. That's where the darkness really lies. Because when I see other race and ethnicities and cultures, even black people of different complexions, I put words in their mouths that I think they would say about me or somebody like me if there were no consequences. And me removing consequences as a filter in my search engine is catastrophic, son. That shit is dark. That shit is dark. I'm talking like Wesley Snipes got you in the headlock in a closet in space, dark. You can't. It's dark. It's dark. You can't even see in the dark in this shit. Here's how fucked up I am. I have a manager. And I tell myself that this man thinks the worst of me because I don't think that people outside of black people see black people as people. I feel like they see us as a property, a novelty item, something to obsess over, fantasize, fetishize, experiment with, hunt. And I have this manager, and we have conversations, we talk, but at the end of the day, I think the spell of your human wears off when I am disobedient in the sense of I have my own opinion about how I want to be. And if I don't want to do the things that has been done before to get success, I'm like Django that ran off and didn't help the guy finish trying to track down Leonardo DiCaprio's character. Or I was disobedient and didn't help him fulfill the end of my contract, and now I'm hunted. Or you know what I mean? Like, you ever see a movie where someone's a thief or a convict or a drug addict or whatever, and there's another person in their life that tries to treat them like they don't see them as the drug addict or the slave or the convict that they are, and they say, no, I see you as a human being. Fair shake, blah, 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 blah. And you just see the person becoming more and more free and open what they talk about. And then the person is like, yo, why are you talking like that? Like, I'm doing you a favor by even being around you. Stop acting like you're nothing but a junkie, slave, or whatever. Like, they end up saying what they really want to say to you. And I feel like that is going to happen any day now, in any scenario I'm in, not just with my manager, just in any scenario, a casting director, an agent, a manager, a producer, a writer for a show. Because I can imagine being on a show and a white writer coming to me saying, I think you should deliver your line like this. And I'm like, that's not how I would say it. And then they try to tell you, but this is how we think a black person would talk. Can you just do what the fuck we think a nigga would do and just be thankful you have a job and shut the fuck up? Like, that part. I feel like, you know how they take inner city youth and they bring them to country clubs and rich people's mansions to let them run around and see how they interact. And they're like, look at him. He's just running around and he's frolicking, you know, despite his skin tone and everything and the way he mispronounces words. He's not a bad thing to have around the house either. You want to know what's a scary fucked up movie? The Toy with Richard Pryor. The movie is with Jackie Gleason and Richard Pryor, and Richard Pryor works at this mall. He can't get a job. He's a lawyer, and Jackie Gleason's son is fucking dumb, spoiled rich, and he sees Richard Pryor cleaning the toy store that his dad owns, and he doesn't want to buy a toy. He buys Richard Pryor, and basically they put a price, and Richard Pryor says, you pay me this much money, I'll be a toy for your son. It's a fucking racist movie, but you love Richard Pryor so much, but at the same time, you can't believe he did this fucking movie. This movie is crazy, son. But Hollywood makes you do that. You gotta find your worth. You gotta ask it, is it worth it to yourself to feel like shit? Do you want to have mirrors in your home? Because if you don't want to have mirrors in your home, do whatever the fuck you want to do, because you ain't gotta look at yourself at the end of the day. And if you don't have to look at yourself, why the fuck do you care how much you degrade yourself or move your line integrity to the point that you become Stephen A. Smith's hairline? And it's nothing. Nothing. Find out what your worth is. Find out if it's worth it to you to find out what your worth is. I'm working on that right now. That's what I do every day. I ask myself, is it worth it to me to pretend I believe that people like me when they don't, but they only want me for something. And if I can't do something for them, then they don't want to have shit to do with me, because that's literally 95% of the agents and managers in this business. If I could not do some magical Negro shit, they wouldn't really fuck with me. Now, is it worth it to me to keep doing this podcast? Yes, I'm enjoying it. Support it. I'm a human art project. Download it, share it. Support is a verb. You could donate to it, Cash App, PayPal, whatever. I just killed some time. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm just existing. Just having a moment, folks. Just having a moment.